biggest hit. Because this young man can kill us. With his energy and passion, we all be like, goodness me, this is like marathon. I kind of feel like I was singing, like, what we should do? Yeah. No, you don't want to go for his, like, for this instructor, like 15 minutes, you're like, that's it. It's like, no. It's like, hey, good to be back here. Like, we love Leon, but he's good for 15 minutes of worship. Then we are like, catching the breath. Hey, so I love when it comes to the church that actually now we are rediscovering what the church is all about. That's what Pastor Josiah was saying, even the communion. Hey, it's about community, getting together, being together, serving God, serving one another, loving God, loving people, changing the world. That's why we are here. So it's so good. We're finishing the series today, but we're having a super Sunday. Some of you are with us for a few months, some of you for longer, some even shorter. And there is a few things in the life of KDM every year that are super important for us. There's one of this, it's that Sunday that we're having today, because we're believing that there is few things that we as a church, we're coming together because we're believing for more. That's why we are here. We're believing for more and we're expecting more. And and sometimes the things happen, but there is some things that we as people, we can come together and say like, hey, let's believe together for greater things. When we came to Krakow like 14 years ago, people told us that city, it's very tough. It's so religious, so hard. It's a graveyard for pastors. It's like, we keep hearing how tough and bad this place is. But we, as few of us, 8 of us who came, we said, but God can do way more. There's always, and I want to talk to us today about God, that with Him, the things are possible, and we have to trust Him. And when we came here, there were so many obstacles, and people were telling us, the things that they were truth in their eyes. What they saw, what they heard, they knew that it's true. This week, on Tuesday, I have a privilege with 2 other pastors to go to the city hall, and I met with Mayor of Krakow, President Majchrowski, and sitting there chatting, and we invited him for our Good Friday service. By the way, it's coming. We as 14 churches together on Krakow, we're meeting together just to participate in this time celebrating what unites church. And we invited him, and I asked him, Mr. President, are you coming? And he said, of course I'm coming. I am waiting every year because of the COVID and the war. For the past 2 years, we haven't done that service. But he said, I've been waiting for that. I was like, years ago, people told us that it's impossible. And now we're sitting face to face. And the president is saying, I'm coming because I know. And there were a few of his assistants. And I was like trying to explain, there's the service, you're invited as well, you can come. And then the president interrupted me, and he said to them, you need to come, because it's not what you expect. That's what the service should be about. He said, they preach the gospel, they don't talk politics, they don't do any hater talk, they just bring to the point, what is this all about? And I was just sitting there and I'm thinking, man, this guy is preaching for me. I just want to encourage us. Today, with the Heart for the House offering, we believe it for greater things. And the things are coming not because they're just coming by accident, but I believe they're coming because someone saw, so we can reap. And it's not just us as KDM. We believe for the city, for this country. But we want to play big grow in this, what God is doing. That's why we believe in for greater things. I don't want to be the one who's kind of like, let's hope what's going to happen. But I want to say, hey, let's get together. Let's together as a church believe for something that's coming. Let's expect another breakthrough, another breakthrough, another breakthrough. Guess what? In life, there is not one breakthrough. There's breakthrough after another. We need breakthroughs every time, sometimes every day. Sometimes we need very often, because that's what we believe in. Because we need to grow in our knowledge, in the, understanding. So we need to have a breakthroughs. So let's believe today for the breakthrough. Amen? So that's what's going to happen. We're going to have in the end of that, when I stop talking to you, if you have those cards, if you don't, there are still cards there. We're going to believe, we're going to put that together as a church offering, that it's going to be way bigger than we expect, to believe for things that it's going to be crazy. I want to be known that I am a very generous person. I want to be known that our church will be so generous that people will talk. The story that I heard yesterday, that one of our facilities for refugees is in the beautiful town called Zator. So everybody's like, what? Energylandia, this huge amusement park. That's what it's about. So that's in Zator. And a friend of ours, a businessman, went to the bank just to have the conversation about something that need to do it. And his lifestyle is that every time he finished any conversation, he brings down to God. And so there's this bank worker, and he started asking her, about God. They started having a conversation. And then this lady said, you know what? Last few months, there was this church in Kraków. They've been sending crazy money to our bank because for the facilities that they are here. And I don't know what is this church, but it was crazy. And he just looked at her and he said, this is the church I go to. She was overwhelmed. And I'm thinking, what about other stories? The people be overwhelmed by the things we as a church, what we do and who we are. Because what we do, that's who we are. So because we are, that's why we do. It's not other way. So I want to share a few stories with you today. The first story is in the Gospel of Matthew in the 19th chapter. And there's the story of a rich man that he comes to Jesus and he said, he comes to Jesus and said, what do you want? What should I do to be good, to get to heaven? And there's the whole conversation. And then, we in the story, we read that Jesus told him and he said to Jesus, I do this, and I do that. Did I impress you? I'm thinking, how many times I come to God and I'm telling him, what did I do in my life? And I think I impressed him. I was generous today. It's did I impress him today? Or I was a good boy today. Did I impress him today? I was a good husband today. Did I impress him? And this is the guy who play God like we all play. He comes with his things okay, I do this, I do that. And he makes the whole list. I'm like, man, I'm not like he is. But he's like, I'm good in this, I'm good in that. And they say, what do you say? And then Jesus tells him, hey, go and sell everything what you have and then come and serve me. And we read that in the story that he actually, after that, he was very sad and he left. For many times, I thought that this is a story about the people, that it's not okay to be rich in the church. It's not okay to be rich. But actually the story, it's nothing about that. It's all about the heart. That story talks about the God who actually all the hope, everything what he has, he was trusting, it was in his treasure. He was missing the point that actually his life, his future should be he should put all the trust in God, not in the things that he has or who he is. So the whole story is that Jesus actually get to the point. And you know what? With God, what is crazy, he always get to the point. We come with the things, but he's like, yeah, you think you impressed me. What about that, Josiah? It's like, oh. What about that, Pastor Zibi? Oh. We try to play God. We try to play, but then God comes to the heart. Where is your heart? Where is your heart? Is your trust in me? There's another story what is very confusing for me. Is in the Gospel of John, chapter 21st, when Jesus have a meal and he start asking Simon the Peter a question, do you love me? This is an awkward question to be asked in the crowd. If I would pick you and ask you, do you love me? My wife is not here, but I was in the second service. I wanted to ask a girl. That would be very awkward if she said yes. So I'm not going to ask this question. But in the group, Jesus asked, do you love me? And, and the Peter was like, yeah, I do. And I think when I read this, I'm like, it's easy to say, yeah, I do love you. But then Jesus asked the second question, do you really love me? And I think this question starts to penetrate something deeper. It's not just here like, yes. It's like, how are you? Good. That was the first question. Do you love me? Yes, I do. How are you? Good. There's the second question. How are you really? Do you really love me? So then he starts penetrate his heart, and Peter start to feel kind of confused. Plus, I think the crowd feel confused too. Why he's asking him, not me? I was like, that's very awkward story. It's very awkward. And we think it's, the Christianity is all like that. But Jesus, it's not easy on us. Because he wants to deal with our hearts, which is he knows this is the important issue. So then we come to the third question. Do you, Simon Peter, let's give Pastor Philip time that he will just, he's turning off the workout watch because he was worshiping and he thinks that he's on the gym. So he's like, yeah, you're doing good, Pastor Philip. Good. So Jesus asked Peter the third time, do you really, really love me? So deep. I think hearing that was hurting. Really hurting. And we read that actually Peter, he was sad because start thinking, why do you ask me 3 times? And I think today we need to ask ourselves, do we really love our Lord? Really, really. And we do this, what I said today is our miracle Sunday, because I believe for a miracle, because this is what we're going to do. It's checking my heart. It's not playing safe. It's not do you love me? Yes, I do. Bang. It's do you really love me? Do you really, really love me? In every situation, we're not talking the money, we're talking every other place. Do we trust him? And I think this is why we do that. You know what? We need to all deal with the fears. Because, we all carry things that we don't even sometimes aware what we carry. I grew up in the family, we have enough, but it wasn't great. The last years, being even here, you heard the stories when we preach here that, we have times that we have no money. We are suffering. We're hardly making. We're thinking of selling the house, but we knew one thing, God is with us. Even if we need to sell a house, we're still going to serve our God. We're still going to do what he said because we choose to believe him more than to believe what we have and what the situation is. We choose. So we've been in this place, but you know what happened? There's something after being this time for some time, your brain start to functioning and you start to thinking and you start to have this the spirit that you start to be like the one you poor. You're not gonna make it. Or I'm just Polish. I'm just Ukrainian. I don't have the education. I am a woman. I am a man. I am this. I am that. We give ourselves things, and we instead of trusting God, we're coming with this whole thing on us, and we said, "That's me." So I realized that I have to break those things. That's why we need breakthroughs. It's not the one breakthrough, breakthroughs. So when we went for our marriage first year, we went for the weekend somewhere, and we stayed in this nice hotel. It was like this nice hotel, and we're like super happy because we're safe, and you stay in the hotel, and they're like, yeah, it's nice. And then as soon as we're leaving, my wife said, like, let's enjoy it, because then the kids will come and we will never be able to do it. And and that was the moment that actually I turned to her. There was like something that I believe, like the Holy Spirit talked to me. I turned to her. I said, no, this is not true. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It doesn't need to be this way. And for the next few years, we have fights. We have breakthroughs. But I'm today in this place that we're gonna, as a family, gonna give the largest offering ever. And I'm telling you this because this is a testimony, not for you, but for me. That for so many years, being faithful, what I saw, I can reap. But it's even more, I believe, for all of us. Because I know that He can and He will. I don't want to live in the past. I want to live in the future. In the first book of Moses is Genesis. We have like those, in Polish Bible, we have like Book of Moses 1, Book of Moses 2. Then you just go Genesis. Like wait a few minutes. Let me tell you the story of this. The man, the Bible teaches he's like the father of faith. So Genesis chapter 12. Let's read the first verse. Now the Lord said to Abram, go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse. And in you all the families on the earth shall be blessed. So Abram went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. What a story. We read of the Abraham. We know the Bible. If we read the Bible, we know he's the father of the faith, which is like, wow, that's the man. That's the beginning of his story. So he's learning, trusting God. So God speaks to him and says, leave your country, leave your background, and go to the land I'm going to promise you. There's so many questions most of us will ask. If you're a lady, you have 10 million questions. If you're a guy, you're like, yeah, then you think. That's true. So he went, and he went there not on his own. So he need to talk to, to his wife and wherever he is, his people, the animals. So there was a big move for him just to go. So he had to answer many questions. So he wasn't there, and he was like, I was asking, what land? No Google Maps, no idea. I don't know what land you're giving to me. He said, go to the promised land. It's like, it now would be like, go get England. Yeah, maybe. Because we know how it looks. He didn't have no idea. He trusted, and he left. There was something in him that he decided to believe that God is with him rather than to stay and, even thinking like, how it is going to be. He decided, I will go. Then God said, like, if you go, I will bless you. So many times we're expecting blessing in many areas of our life, but we want to stay safe, and we still want a blessing. It's not finances, everything. Oh, I'm lonely here. Move out. Meet people, you'll be blessed. If you cry in your room week by week that you're lonely, guess what? There's a reason. Because you locked yourself in the room. Move out. Then you can expect the blessing. Abraham left, and we read that God said, I'm going to bless you. But that's not the end of the story. And it's like the next, in the chapter 15, it's something what happened later. The 15th chapter, the verse 4 and 6. Then, it's again, that's everything with us. I love that story because Abraham, this like hero of faith. Abraham, the Israel, like we are in his, what you call it, what is the word, like in generations, like he's our father as well. And when I read about him, it's like, goodness me, this guy, he wasn't like so smart. I mean, twice he went to the two cities and he pretended his wife is not his wife. That's like dumb. I mean, it's not even smart. It's like stupid. I mean, there's many other things. The father of faith. And then God promised him things. The promise, and then he goes somewhere and he is like you and me. That's the hope for all of us guys. Because he does what we all do, which is wrong. We start to help God. So he is like, okay, God promised me it's not going to go this way, what I was thinking, so I need to help him. That we are getting into God's shoes. Abraham is exactly that. He's a master. I think he created this idea of helping God. Because like his whole story is like he was helping God, and every time he decided to help God, it was disaster. It was just disaster. I think he's the one who brings this up. We read it like, oh, maybe we should try it. So he is the one who started doing it. And he comes to God and he said, you gave me this promise, but the chapter 15 and the verse is 4 and 6. And he said in the verse 3 that Abraham said to God, behold, you have given me no offspring, and the member of my household will be heard. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him. This man shall not be here. Your very own son shall be her. You English. Your very own son shall be there. And he brought him outside and said, look towards heaven and number the stars, if you are able to number them. Then he said to him, so shall your offspring be. And he believed the Lord, and he continued to him as righteous. Second time, God comes to Abraham. He heard the idea. This is my home. This is my promised land. I know. But then he comes back. But God, it doesn't work this way. It's okay. What are I supposed to do? He comes to God. Then God take him out again from the place he was. I would like to encourage all of us today to get out of the place where we are. If you can close your eyes for a second. Like God took Abraham out of the tent, whatever he was, and he took him out and he said, look at the sky, start counting the star. Of course, it's impossible to count the star. God is teaching him, trust me and you will see greater things that you expect. Don't put myself to your little box. Don't put your fears, any idea you have of me, don't put it there, because you will see, if you trust me, what I can do. He said, look at the sky. Your nation will be as plenty as the stars are. How crazy was that? Hey, my friend, this is you can open your eye. This is the time that God is speaking to you. Don't count on this what you heard. Start counting on this what God's promised you. Look again. Go out. Get out of your place of comfort. Get out and look and see what God has prepared for you. There is an action needed. Action is needed. You need to do. You need to make a step of faith. You need to move out from the country. You need to move out of the tent. You need to get out and look and trust. We all have fears. I talked to one person today. I said, you know what? Maybe I have no fear in this area. We all have fears. And we all need to fight the fears. Don't allow the fears stop you by reaching your destiny. One of the things why we do that is, you know what? I want to kill the fear and trust my God. That's why I do it. Not because I want to trust the fear, but I want to trust my God. That's why I want to kill it. Because I don't want my fear to stop me from my destiny. Who was talking to you who you are? In the Bibles, I'm going to finish. In the Bible, in Old Testament and New Testament, they said that people were wearing the coats. No, I need it. It's not, I'm hot, but still I need it. It's my prompt, so. Where have you been the last 2 services? Oh, okay, whatever. And in the Bible, the coat many times was presenting something. You could wear the coat, so it means that maybe you were from the rich family. Or sometimes, when you wear the coat, probably, people knew that you are blind. Or people could know that, you just you're sick. So they knew by the things you were. And today, I believe that you can decide that you can throw that coat that's kind of actually making what you're calling yourself or what others says. You can decide, you know what? I don't want to be named anymore by this. I don't want to be named, again that, this is this Polish pastor. No, that's not me. I don't want, yes, I am, but it's not. I don't want to be this, it's the woman. Oh, it's this Ukrainian lady. Or we put this, and we have, or the things that you have done in the past, then you even stop yourself like, if I only didn't make this mistake, stop it. Just throw it today. And just come to God and say, again, I want to get out. Look at the heaven. Look at the heaven for my destiny. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw this coat. Whatever it is in your life. Maybe it's a sickness. Maybe it's a sin. Maybe it's the names. Even your parents and friends told me. You know how many times I heard bad things about me and I have to fight the fight. I heard I am not a good pastor. I heard by great men saying, if I would be God, I would never pick you. I'm like, great. Because you are not God. My Polish and English is not perfect. My wife is better in both. But somehow God decided to put me here for such a time like this. And if I allowed the fear, I wouldn't stand here. And I wouldn't make the decision to believe for more, not just for me, but for everyone. Guys, this is the Sunday what we're talking about. The heart for the house. Not this, hello, how are you? Not, yes, I love you. But it's, do I really, really love you? Look at the sky. So much. Look up. There is the promise. Because my help and my help is coming from Him. Not from my bank. Not from my work. Not from my friends. Not for things around. It's from Him. And only for Him. Why don't we stand up? Father, I'm just so grateful